IRS Form 2553 is the election by a small business corporation. A corporation or eligible entity files it to elect to be taxed as an S corporation, which lets income, losses, and credits pass through to shareholders instead of being taxed at the corporate level. This can avoid double taxation for qualifying small businesses. For example, if Anna Baker Designs Incorporated and met the requirements, it could file Form 2553 to choose S corporation status. The entity must have a limited number of eligible shareholders, one class of stock, and meet other rules to qualify. Part 1 begins with the entity's identifying information. Enter the corporation name, Anna Baker Designs, the address at 123 Main Street, Austin, Texas 78701, and the employer identification number, shown here as 12-3456789. Provide the date and state of incorporation. Then enter the effective date you want the S election to begin, which is usually the start of a tax year. Be careful with this date because filing deadlines are strict. Generally, the form is due within a set window of the start of the tax year or any time in the year before it takes effect. Still in Part 1, specify your selected tax year. Most small corporations choose a calendar year ending December 31st, but you can request a fiscal year if you have a valid business purpose and complete the related part. Indicate the number of shareholders, since an S corporation is limited to a maximum count. If you are filing late, you must provide reasonable cause for missing the deadline and request relief, explaining why the election was not made on time. Read these boxes carefully, because checking the wrong option can delay or invalidate your election. An authorized corporate officer must sign and date the form at the bottom of Part 1. This is typically the president, treasurer, or another officer with authority to act for the corporation. By signing, the officer confirms that the corporation consents to the election and that the information provided is accurate. For Anna Baker Designs, Anna Baker, acting as president, would sign here. Without a proper officer signature, the IRS will not process the election, so confirm that the signer holds the right title and authority before submitting the completed form. Every shareholder must consent to the S election by signing in the shareholder's consent section. List each shareholder's name, address, and taxpayer identification number, along with the number of shares or percentage owned and the dates acquired. Each one signs and dates to show agreement. For our example, Anna Baker would appear as the sole shareholder, signing to consent. If a shareholder is married and you are in a community property state, the spouse may also need to sign. Missing even one required consent can cause the IRS to reject the entire election. Before sending the form, double-check every signature, identification number, and date. Then file it with the correct IRS Service Center listed in the instructions. Watch your deadline closely, and if you qualify for late election relief, attach your explanation of reasonable cause. Keep the IRS acceptance letter, often called the CP-261 notice, with your permanent corporate records as proof of your S corporation status. Fill yours out free at FormsPal.com. This is general information, not tax advice.